Good day, everyone. How are you guys doing? I got to tell you guys a story. So we're going to be talking about probably, quite frankly, the biggest mistake most offices make when they do any type of marketing, and very specifically when they do any type of niche marketing. And as smart as I am, as good as I think I am, as good as I think my team is, I made this mistake, and I probably actually doubled the mistake, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But here's the deal. We get to a point in our practice where we're doing the dentistry we want to do, and you want to ramp up a certain aspect. Now, for me, that was I wanted to do more full arch cases. One, they produce good amount of money. I enjoy doing them. They're completely life-changing for your patients, and technology has reached a point where they're fun to do, and then easier. Didn't say easy, but easier. So I've never done any digital marketing. I've done very little marketing, non-traditional marketing. We've done some print and things like that, but I've never really stepped into the world of digital marketing. So earlier this year, I was introduced to a digital marketer that I hired to get me leads, and they did exactly that. They got me leads. I said they weren't very good leads, and I said that because we weren't converting them. We weren't getting them to come to appointments. They weren't showing up for appointments, and we weren't closing them the way I needed to or anticipated, and I blame the marketing. But the truth is this. The truth is that we, as a practice, weren't doing good. So here's the facts. Look, I look at it quite easily. When you're doing any type of marketing, the goal of marketing is pretty much a 4-step process. Step 1 is you got to acquire the patients. In other words, you got to get leads, get strangers, get hot leads, cold leads, whatever you want to call them. You got to get people calling or inquiring to your practice. I call that the acquisition phase. Step 2 is conversion 1, or the first step of conversion. And that is getting them from on the phone or on chat or whatever it is, getting them into your office for a consultation. Step 3 is the final step of conversion, and that's converting the consultation into an actual paying patient doing some level of treatment. And then the 4th step is the nurturing phase, and that is basically 90% of your patients are going to say no to your treatment, okay? So what are we doing? How are you keeping up with these patients? How are you staying top of mind with them? And what are you doing to be their choice when that patient decides to be ready? And so, quite frankly, we were stinking at the conversion. So I brought in someone who's going to be spending a day with our practice on sales training. Now, I know a lot of people, when you hear the word sales training, you think used car salesman. And by the way, there's nothing somewhat wrong with that. There's things we can take from that and make it your own. But we don't think of that often. And frankly, it's the forgotten part of it. So I brought in Miss Lauren Powers. Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm good. Lauren, you were late today. You had to get your nails done.
I did. I mean, I can't, show
And they're purple.
Up. They are, of course. Purple's royalty. It's energy, money.
Purple is royalty.
It is. Royalty means money. It's what we're trying to do. Earn it.
Yeah, I'm trying to change lives, So listen, Lauren Powers is a sales success coach raised in Northeast Ohio, which is Cleveland, right?
I'm more in the Akron area.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Cleveland, Akron, whatever. LeBron James territory.
Absolutely.
And has spent the last 20 years in Atlanta, Georgia. She has over 15 years as a successful sales career ranging from all healthcare aspects, medical and dental, and working with a wide range of doctors, dentists. I noticed that we just said doctors, like dentists aren't real doctors.
No, you guys are very real. You're actually the realest of the real, so I've learned.
She's also an entrepreneur. Her family owns a mid-sized gym outside of Atlanta and a few other businesses. And during her sales career, one of the things that Lauren was able to do, one of her gifts, is helping offices develop a sales program or a sales coaching program to help team members convert patients, essentially,
Absolutely.
Without being pressure, without being any of those things, really helping people choose the dentistry that, quite frankly, they need
Absolutely.
to have done. So, Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm great. I can't wait to kind of dive in. This is a great topic.
It is. Selfishly, it's free coaching for me.
I know, exactly. You're getting a little bonus.
Yeah, I shouldn't have had to pay for tomorrow, but all of this. But no. So, Lauren, you've been in the implant world for a little bit, haven't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
So you used to be an implant rep?
I did, yep. And I've been in many, many, many surgeries. I've been in many full arches. I have, completely converted doctors from one implant to another, taken them off the shelf. So, yeah, it was a very fun time.
Well, I believe all implants work.
They do. They're all titanium for the most part.
I firmly believe that dentists should use name brand implants.
Okay.
But that's a different conversation
Right.
for another day. So let's talk about marketing success. Let's get to it. Okay. So you were in our pre-conversation, you were telling me there's 5 steps that a practice has to do to be successful at niche marketing.
Yes, I truly believe that. And the first step is really understanding your niche.
What do you mean by that? I call it niche.
Niche.
English is my second language.
Okay, right. So, your niche. Especially if you're doing general dentistry, right? So what is your skill set, doctor? What are you good at? What are you great at? What is going to earn you the most revenue that also provides you the most pleasure and the patient the best outcome? And a lot of times when we start a marketing campaign, doctors will ask me, well, can we just brand the business?
Well, that's a bad idea unless you're a large corporation,
Correct.
Multiple locations. I don't personally believe in branding as a dental practice.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. But, in this particular conversation, I know we're trying to grow in implants.
Yes.
And you enjoy that surgical process. You teach, you educate others on how to do that. So you are laser focused on that patient. You know what he or she looks like. You know the various reasons why their teeth are failing. You may know their income bracket. You have to know, understand, and be fully committed to that niche and nothing else when you're doing a marketing campaign.
So what I'm hearing you say is that before you ever begin marketing, you got to understand what you're marketing. It's got to be specific. Like I would argue it just can't be dental implants because dental implants is single tooth, broken
Crown
teeth,
and bridge,
multiple teeth, full arch. It's removable. It's fixed.
You got it.
There's bazillion choices, correct? And now even in the fixed world, there's guided, unguided, teeth tomorrow, teeth express, pro arch, all on 4. You name it.
You got it.
It's even more confusing, correct?
Correct.
So you got to know what you're trying to sell.
Yep.
Okay. Or what you're trying to market, attract, and then, but secondarily to that is you got to know who that customer is.
Absolutely.
In the sales world, they call it your avatar, right?
Yep. You need to know that the avatar has been used quite frequently. When you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, like what does that person look like? You can even give them a name.
And what are their goods and bads?
How much money do they make? What pain points? What stressors are they bringing in? Are they embarrassed? Is it because they chew tobacco? Is it because they've been abused? Is it because, they have some deep periodontal disease? The baby boomers right now, most of their teeth are failing because of, various reasons. But until you understand, and are fully committed to both that niche and that customer, you'll just be spending money and hoping to get somebody to call you. Okay. Does that make sense?
What's second? So I figured out, we're going to do me.
You know who that customer is. Okay.
Like, I know that I want to market full arch cases, and we've got a good idea who our avatar is. I got a good understanding that these people
where they live.
have got to this point because they're a little bit unreliable in terms of showing up to appointments. Sometimes they're displaced because they don't necessarily value or spend the money, or maybe they didn't have the money. Any number of things. So we've got the niche down.
Yep.
Once I figured out what specifically I'm trying to market, what's the next step?
So you then want to build your website, right? You want to build, because we're talking about the digital space.
Right.
So you want to build your website, build your page that is going to be designed to bring in patient opportunities. Okay. Some people may call that SEO, search engine optimization. That takes forever. But I'm talking about, what does your website look like? When you go on your website, most users are on a mobile phone.
Right.
All right. So if you have some fancy video on your homepage on a computer that nobody will ever see on a mobile phone, that probably doesn't matter. In 10 seconds, can I capture on your website what it is that you do, what you sell, and is it speaking to the niche?
It's like the grunt test, the caveman test. Can a caveman look at your website in 3 to 5 seconds and specifically know what you're selling?
And right now, most dentists are selling either their their living room in their office, or maybe the nice landscape of this, or the skyline of the city, or a nice picture of themselves. Most of the time, when instead of it saying, you know, new teeth right now, same day, click here.
Like I always say, the best headline would be, "We fix broken teeth."
Yeah, it makes sense.
Are you in an emergency? We help people like you. Like, that's a great headline. You know, why do people have to make this so cute and all that other stuff? So we got to have a good site that is designed for a place for people to go, to get some information, to help emotionally connect with them, and to clearly define the process of what's going to happen.
And it's very, very easy for them to have to make an action. You know, they can call. Or
the site doesn't have to be super beautiful, does it?
It doesn't. It needs to bring in patients.
Yeah, it needs to answer their questions.
You got it.
Yeah, these people have questions. That's what they probably searched in Google, some question. You know, how do I eat again, or something, something along those lines, right?
Right.
And your site should do that. All right, what's after that? And probably, quite frankly, this is the most important step.
Yes, this is paramount. So, we've got our beautiful website. We know exactly who our patient is, our niche. So now we need to prepare our office, our staff, to
our team.
Sorry.
They would be very upset. My listeners would be upset if I didn't correct you.
Oh, okay.
You've noticed every time you said staff team, I'd always say my team.
And I did. I should have picked up on that earlier. So we need to prepare our team to receive these new patient opportunities. So that is, before you spend a dime on your digital marketing campaign, is your team ready to answer that phone and really convert these patients into consultations? Are they trained?
I want to go a step further with you, Lauren, okay? Because I'm speaking from a lot of experience here, okay? I forgot that we have a lot of different people in my practice since the last time we took some communication training.
Okay.
So, one, does your team know what you're doing, okay?
Most of the time they don't.
Do they know what your goal is? In other words, the goal is, hey, we need to bring these people in, okay? Do they have the proper phone skills? Do they have the technical knowledge of the procedure? Not trying to get clinical on the phone, but people are going to ask some specific questions. And if you sound like a doofus, you've lost them, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to have some of that. And I'll take it a step further. And this is one of the mistakes we made, is we didn't pre-block consult times, and we started telling these people when they called that it was going to be a couple of weeks before we'd see them. And that is not
couldn't catch them while they were hot.
That is not good. So to me, part of being ready for what your marketing campaign is, understanding technically what you're doing, the technical knowledge, or the talking points, as I like to call it. Okay, having the phone skills to talk to the phone, which is what we're going to talk about in this podcast, and then having the pre-planning the space on your schedule to be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the whole team needs to be a part of that entire process and planning. And a lot of times they're left out. And so they're answering the phone a lot of times unaware of what even the offer is. Or, why do you feel like there's a free consultation? I didn't know we were doing a free consultation.
Or more often what happens is the key people in the back, or the key people that do the consults, know these things, but the team in the front has no earthly idea.
And those are the VIPs.
Yeah, that's first step. Yep. All right, so now we've figured out our niche. Yep. We've built a site that converts. Correct. That's not necessarily the most beautiful, but designed to convert. That has some key things in there.
Correct.
And maybe we'll get Bill on to talk about that one day. We've established and trained our team.
They're ready to go
to understand how to call and do all of that.
Correct.
So what's next?
So now you are ready to start your digital campaign. Okay. And it's best to choose a marketing firm, obviously, that knows the dental space, but you're going to do a campaign that has an offer of some sort. And primarily it's going to be for full arch, because as we said earlier, that's the niche, that's what we're trying to attract. And so this campaign is not for people who don't know what implants are. All right, we're not trying to find people that are saying what is a dental implant, what is a full arch of teeth. We're not looking for those people. We want folks that are looking for a new mouth of teeth near you,
or hate my dentures, or things like that.
Yes, we're not trying.
But that comes back to your avatar to a certain
absolutely,
degree, right?
And that's directly related. So we can't even get to the digital marketing campaign until we get all these other things identified.
So your digital marketing campaign has to reflect what you're advertising.
100%.
So you can't have a guy in skinny jeans
Probably not. Or a young person.
Yeah. Or I've seen the Smile Direct Club ads, and they're all with these women with big busts.
Yep.
I don't know the right word to say for that.
That's great.
I call them boobs. But,
but I've seen those as well.
Yeah.
But
that's probably not the right marketing for.
No.
This probably not the right marketing to have a picture of the doctor sitting in a fancy apartment doing all of that stuff. That's not the marketing we're after.
It's a
here.
very specific algorithm to get that patient to call you because they're in distress. Their denture doesn't fit right. They're having headaches and pain because of their ill-fitting denture, and they're emotional. They're emotional. We have no reason why they have missing teeth, and it could be one tooth, and they feel like they need a whole new mouth.
You wrote a word in here.
Yes.
That was very important. I think to me is. You wrote that we need to start our digital campaign that will bring strangers that are looking for a specific service.
Absolutely. These
strangers.
Are strangers. These are people, because we're not looking for folks that are Googling.
So these aren't hot leads.
They're hot. They're as hot. The ones that call you are the hottest leads. The hottest strangers you will get.
Right, but by definition, they're not hot leads. They're lukewarm at best.
They're warm. Yeah, they're definitely
best.
warm. They need to be sold.
They're tire kickers.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. They're tired.
They're shopping. Yes. They're definitely warm leads.
And it's a quick thing. Mm-hmm. They're shopping. Mm-hmm. Team has got to understand.
They're shopping.
When people don't know what questions to ask. Mm-hmm. So if I'm looking for a new car, or I'm looking for something that I haven't done a lot of research on, but I kind of know I need that, what's my first question going to be?
How much does it cost?
How much does it cost? And most offices, most consultants, most gurus tell you that you never answer the question. And the truth is you answer the question, but you answer it in a very specific way.
There's definitely ways. There's ways to get there. We'll definitely dive into that.
All right, so we've started our campaign. Now what?
So now the campaign's rolling, okay? And the patient opportunities are calling in. Your team is answering them. They're tracking it on their dashboard. You can actually hear. You're recording the calls. You can hear. So now we're at the end.
That was eye-opening for me.
Yeah, yes, call tracking was on, and you could kind of hear the interactions. So we're at the end of the second week. It's time for you guys to meet. You need to always either have a team huddle. I don't know if you have a Monday morning
we have a huddle every week.
Okay,
every day.
A huddle. Okay, so we need to pick one day.
Yeah, we have a marketing huddle every 2 weeks.
Okay, fabulous. So and most offices don't. Or if they do have a huddle, marketing is not a part of that discussion. It's more about the layout of the day.
I mean, are you getting calls? What's going on with these calls? I got to know all these things.
You have to say this is the marketing campaign that you're investing in is
my hard-earned dollars.
It is. And so it's important to keep your team engaged at all times. And so they know that you're listening and that you feel like this is equally as important. So every week we want to make sure we're revisiting the marketing campaign to make sure we're headed in the right direction.
All right.
Yes.
So these are the things that we got to do to be successful.
Yes.
Okay. Done it all, minus the one part, okay? So
one little tiny part.
Super important, okay? Let's focus on that, okay? What I want to talk about now, very specifically for our listeners, is the conversion process.
Okay.
And we got to understand conversion isn't about getting them to yes right away. Converting is the first step. You got to crawl, walk, run. Mm-hmm. First step is I got somebody to call me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, our goal for that is to get them into the office.
Absolutely.
To have a chance to see what's going on and get them through the next step, through our sales funnel.
Correct.
So let's focus our conversation on this episode on the key success points to go from phone call to scheduling a consultation.
Yes. So, the phone calls, which you have, listened in on a few of your own. So let's talk about the phone call.
And we have a great team. You met them today. They're lovely people.
Amazing.
I failed them.
Yeah, you actually do. You have a great foundation. Yeah. So thankfully you don't have to fix anything there. Yeah. So when someone calls in, they've Googled full mouth of teeth near me, the Raleigh Dental Arts ad pops up. They click on it. They call. Ring. Okay. The front desk.
We answer the phone, hopefully.
For our first thing, answer the phone. But the way that our system is set up, you will hear a whisper that says, it's a Google call.
Facebook, whatever, yeah.
Exactly. So that means that team member needs to be perked up, shoulders up, core tight, ready to go because it's time to sell.
Well, another option also is to use vanity numbers that ring to a specific phone, specific ring, so that you know it's
if it's like
there.
a dedicated line.
So in other words, what you're saying is we have pre-knowledge that this call is from this.
100% every time.
We can get our desk clear. We can do whatever we got to do to get in the game.
Every time, because this is a phone call that you have paid for.
Sure, I paid $100 to get it.
You paid $100 for this click. So imagine when, this person who's all emotional distress, my denture doesn't fit, they call and they hear, Raleigh Dental Arts.
What'd you say?
Thank you for calling Raleigh Dental Arts.
I can't understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Phone voice is critical for all calls, honestly. And I hear so often, because I think dental and medical offices are very calm and pretty chill. You hear like the water feature trickling. So that tends to lend to the energy of the staff, of the team. The team. And their phone voice is very subdued and very calm. It doesn't indicate confidence. It doesn't indicate leadership. It doesn't indicate that they're going to take control of the phone call. And a lot of times, especially for baby boomers, they can't even hear or understand. Right. Or if it's a name that has multiple syllables, they have no clue of what you're saying. So you just skip past it. Okay.
So get on your phone voice.
Get your phone voice prepared at all times.
And use the patient's name.
Always. But the only way you get to the patient's name is if you do what?
Ask them.
Wow.
Off the bat.
Wow.
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Can you say it again?
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Oh, my name is Lauren. I want all the implants right now. Yeah, most of the time they don't ask. They're just not conditioned to probe because there's always something else to do. Let me just get the person off the phone. But when you redirect the conversation, you are taking control of that phone call, and now you can help guide it to where you want it to go.
So we got a phone voice. Yep. We got a smile on our face. I'm talking to.
Yes.
What's next?
So the very next thing is that you need to probe. Okay. We're going to probe. Most of the time, the patient is asking, "How much is an implant?"
No, when you say probe, most dentists are thinking of the
not with
thing,
the tool.
The tool that goes in between the gums. Okay.
Yes, it's not a one-sided conversation. You want to ask. So if someone calls,
give me some examples.
Okay, so I'm going to call in and say, "How much is an implant?"
Okay.
And if the team
I'll ask the question.
Okay, go ahead.
So Lauren, I was reading on your website, you guys have implants. How much does something like this cost?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for calling today. What's your name, if you don't mind me asking?
Bob.
Okay, Bob. Well, that is a great question. But before I even get into any of that, Bob, what makes you believe that you need an implant, sir?
Well, I'm missing a tooth. Actually, I'm missing all my teeth.
You're missing all your teeth?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my gosh. My mom was dealing with the same thing last year, and she had to see Dr. A to get her teeth fixed. So how long have you been missing your teeth?
Oh, man. It started off where one tooth broke and then another tooth broke. And, next thing you know, I don't have any teeth. It's probably been going on for 10, 15 years like this.
Bob, in case the phone call drops, do you mind if I grab your phone number really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll take your phone number.
So, I just want to know, are you going to tell me how much this cost?
Oh, no, we'll get there. But, there's a wide range of prices. I have no idea if you need one implant or if you need 5 or 6. That's why I want to get some more information. Okay. So are you in pain? Do you see what I'm saying? I need to pull more information out.
You're taking control of the call.
Complete control.
Yeah.
And most of the time, especially the older population, they feel like that they run the show.
I would add one thing. Not you mentioned this.
Sure.
But I would point out one thing to our listeners. I think it's super important to acknowledge the patient's question and say you're happy to answer that for them. But before I can give you that answer, let me get some information from you so I can give you the right answer.
Get it
all.
But
it's important to don't redirect without saying, I don't want to answer your question. Say, hey, listen, Lauren, I'm going to be happy to answer that question. To help me best answer that question for you, do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
And that's the right part of my script. You are right in line. See, you were already halfway there.
Part of the problem is I know it. My team doesn't. I haven't.
Halfway home.
I haven't coached the. Right. So we're going to probe. What are some other, my insurance? Does my insurance pay for this?
Well, do you accept insurance for implants? Is the question.
Sure,
Because not all offices
We're in network.
do.
We're in network. Sure.
So the question, the answer I would say to that is sometimes implants are covered by insurance, but I do want to get some more information from you if you don't mind. I always redirect because I need to know everything about you so I can get the price. I'm not saying this to the patient.
Sure.
So I can understand what's wrong. Have you seen another doctor?
Yeah.
Have you had a CT scan? Have you been to Clear Choice? Have you done anything else to get to this phone call? So the very last thing before I even get back to any sort of price is I start talking about the consultation and start building up the doctor, which is the next thing.
The third thing is, okay, so number one,
Yeah.
you talked about using your phone voice, using the patient's name,
And
getting the telephone number in case something happens. A lot of people call them from the phone.
Yep.
We go through dead spots. I don't understand how you can be driving down an interstate highway and have
The
dead
phone
spots when it
drops.
happens. Okay,
Yeah.
Then you got to learn how to probe, and a lot of people are uncomfortable about this.
I know.
Okay, and probing isn't avoiding the conversation; it's helping to better answer the question
That's
that
all
they
it
want.
is.
You know, because you're right. You can't answer. This isn't general. This isn't, I got a feeling, how much does MetLife pay for it? This isn't that question. This is a very complicated person. Okay,
From
with the
$2,000 to $35,000. Like
Right.
we have no way
You
of
can't
knowing.
say that.
No, I would
No,
never say that.
I'm saying to our listeners, you can't say that. It's one thing to say $2,000 to $4,000. It's another thing to say, well, our cars
35.
range from $3,000 all the way up to $40,000. I mean, you can't
I know,
say that,
but
right?
but this is a very true thing, though. You can't, you don't know until you get the patient in the office, and that's why I feel like the very next thing is that in order to have that confidence to take control of the conversation and really ask those questions, you have to know the product, you have to know the
So
doctor.
this is where the expertise,
have to.
and this is where the quote unquote selling begins.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So when you say you know the product, know the doctor.
Yes.
Like my team member, let's not say not. Most dentists, well, my team knows who I am, but do they really? What do you mean by know the doctor?
That means that you need to truly be able to sell the doctor's skills and their personality. So constantly mention.
All right, so
the
sell me
doctors.
on the phone.
Well, so I heard you say
I
that.
know it's hard.
No, I have so many great things that I could say. So, Bob, I heard you say that you've been missing some teeth for a while now.
Yes.
Gosh, let me tell you, Dr. A, this is his sweet spot. And he did additional training after school to specialize in this. Do you know that he even teaches other dentists about this very procedure that you may need? I just want to get you in here as soon as possible. And in fact, I think he has an opening spot tomorrow, since you said that you were in a little bit of pain. Did you want to come and see him tomorrow?
Well, I got to know how much this costs.
Well, I think that is a very, very important question that you're asking. And let me tell you right now, we have not let a single patient out of this office that hasn't been able to afford our procedures.
All right. How much does it cost?
It ranges. We won't be able to know until we do a scan.
All right. So when I come in, will you tell me how much this is going to cost?
We will give you a complete itemization of the entire procedure.
Can I get a range?
A range? Well, you've been shopping. What have you heard? No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I would never say that. I honestly, I don't give the price. I don't give it because
Okay.
the moment you give the price, they usually hang up. I don't get the price until I get a consultation, phone number, a booking, a something. Like the patient
Okay.
has to give me something before I can give them that.
Okay.
And I know we're not having like a true phone call
Right.
right now, but the goal is to take them through this process where you made this connection. You've using their name, you've sold the doctor, you connected with their pain point. Now we just need to get them in to give them a true workup because it could be a single implant. And I always say this, that the doctor's first and primary job is to save your teeth. They don't want to pull them all out. So if you have teeth and they're salvageable, I don't want to give you some high price
Right.
that's not even, realistic. So, right now, if you want to know the cost of a single implant, that could range between $2,500 and $3,500. But this is
Okay.
after I've gotten him booked.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you. All right.
Yeah.
So when you say know your product, what do you mean by that?
The product is the doctor and it is the actual implant itself.
Okay.
So if someone is saying that they are missing teeth, and I've cold called or mystery shopped some offices and said, yeah, what's the cost of an implant? And they shoot out $3,500. I'm like, oh, $3,500? And then they start talking about abutments and all this other things that don't relate to me as a patient. So you need to be a master of implant dentistry, so to speak, a mini master.
You're talking about the person on the phone.
The team member, yes. A mini master of implant dentistry in patient language. because they're going to probably ask some more specific questions. Well, I had a root canal. Is he going to have to go back in there and clean it out? And if the team member has to keep putting them on hold every single time to answer those questions,
you lose confidence.
Exactly. And it could potentially lose the phone call altogether.
Once you lose confidence, you're done.
Yeah.
All right. So, but knowing the product is also about knowing the technique, right?
The entire technique.
I'll be more specific
the
here.
Guided surgery and all that.
Yeah. So, like, in other words, sell the guided surgery, right? Hey, do you know, doctor? Like in our office, I'll sell our office. Okay. And I don't know how we would phrase this on the phone, but listen. At the end of the day, what we do is we make sure that you walk out of here with teeth that stay in your head that day.
Yes.
Okay. Number one, it's the
They're
most
screwed in.
Yeah. Number two, we're going to make sure you're not in pain because we do all our cases with sedation and our fees include sedation. Okay. Number three, we utilize the most modern guides that allow us to be more accurate, to minimize how much bone grafting that's needed, and to minimize how much discomfort you're in afterwards. Okay. To me, that's knowing the product and being able to sell those things so that when those patients that are shopping, and these patients are shopping, they're not just shopping the corporate chains, they're also shopping the other dentists that provide that. And I think part of that sale is also, I say, Ms. Powers, I want you to know in our office, we take care of this from beginning to
start
end,
to finish,
including your follow-up care.
Absolutely. And if you're able to get into all of those details on the phone, because that would be a perfect discussion in the actual consultation, that would be amazing if they're willing to listen to the expert care.
So you don't want to overwhelm them what you say with all that information.
No.
If they don't ask, don't tell.
Correct.
Okay.
Like if they're not
that
really,
was a policy in the military at some point.
Don't ask, don't tell. Yeah, and if they really aren't asking about like the technology and the surgical procedures and the sleep, or what do you call it? Word for sleep.
Anesthesia.
Yeah. If they're not asking about all that on the phone call, I wouldn't volunteer it.
Okay.
Only because again, it's
verbal diarrhea.
Overwhelming amount of information.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. So we got to use a phone voice. Got to use the name. Got to get their phone number. We got to know the doctor. We got to sell the doctor. Know a little bit about the product and the procedure. We got to probe and get questions out of them. And then the last thing is you got to
ask for the appointment. Yeah. So
it's amazing how many times we forget to ask that.
Yeah.
And there's this dead silence, and nobody knows what to do but hang up the phone, right?
Because even in the offices that I've mystery shopped, I'm calling in asking for a price, and nobody ever asks me anything, let alone my name.
Right.
So, asking for the appointment. So we've gone over this, Bob. I know you're feeling good. Dr. A is the best in the area, honestly, for the procedure that we think that you may need. Are you prepared to come in tomorrow? He can fit you in. It's a totally free consultation. We are going to give you a complete evaluation of your mouth. You will truly understand and have a real understanding of the price. Can you come in tomorrow at 12?
I can't, but I can come in the next day.
You can come in the next day? Let me see what I can move around.
Okay.
Act like I'm moving something around. Okay. Actually, tomorrow at 1 o'clock. All I need you to do is just come in. Come in ready for the most amazing consultation of your life with the best doctor in the area, and we will make sure you're getting taken care of, and you will have a full understanding of the entire procedure. Do you have any more questions for me, Bob?
No, sounds like I'm excited. Thank you so much.
All right, and I will give you a call also tomorrow to remind you about your appointment on Thursday.
And then you might give them directions.
All that other stuff.
All that stuff. Yeah. Okay.
All right. All that other stuff.
So what you're saying in terms of the phone call is going to be that we got to use a phone voice.
Have to.
Got to get the name, get the phone number. I would argue we should try to get the email address, but that's probably a little too early to get that.
It's on my sales script. The email address is on there.
Because that way we can nurture them and follow up with them.
Yep.
We got to understand how to take control of the conversation, ask the right questions. Sometimes you got to put the questions back on them. Like if somebody asks, again, it's always about the price. I mean, that's, and we got to we got to get the patients beyond the price. But it might be like, Bob, Lauren, do you know whether you need 1 implant or 4 or 5 implants? Do you happen to know that?
See, well, I just wanted the cost.
Okay.
That's usually what they say,
sure.
because they really don't know. And then also too, if you are price matching, which I can't remember if we're doing that in your campaign, but some offices do price match in the area, and you can say, you know what, honestly, Bob, we will match any price out there that is, apples to ours. So price really shouldn't even Don't even worry about that because we're going to make sure that you can afford
this.
it.
I don't necessarily agree or disagree with the price matching.
I know some people do it.
Look, I'm confident our fee is very fair, but at the end of the day, we won't let price get in the way of getting this type of treatment.
We're gonna make sure it's affordable and you'll have the best treatment option available to you. Bottom line.
All right.
And I've never had anybody sell me on something like that, and then it's been some astronomical price with no way to afford it and no financing. And
what's reasonable in conversion from phone call to consultation? 100%?
No. Wouldn't that be great?
75. Well, maybe 75%.
I would say 10 to 30%.
Okay, so a
10 to
quarter
30.
to a third of the patients you call, it would be a reasonable number to schedule.
To come into the office. You got it. So if you're getting 30 phone calls from ads in a month,
then maybe 5 to 10.
You better. I want 5 to 10 of those having booked and shown up.
Okay. Booked and shown.
Because there's going to be I'm weeding out the ones that booked and don't show.
Okay.
Because we already know what kinds of patients we're dealing with already. So if you can get 5 to 10 consults, you are winning. It is then your job to woo them and wow them with all the lavender and essential oils in the office and all that.
Garbage. All right, what else should we know about the phone call? What else can we do to convert patients from the call to the consultation?
I think that really giving, just reinforcing that confidence on the phone and always asking questions. It is a conversation. Don't have it be one-sided where they call in, ask their question, and leave. You immediately take that control and keep reassuring them that they've called the right place. We just did this procedure yesterday. Dr. A's placed 5,000 implants. My mom had this procedure last month. I hate that you're in pain. Since you're in pain, can we get with you tomorrow? Just always having that dialogue, using the name, and your conversion rate will sharply increase.
Simple statements like, you've called the right place. Simple statements.
I'm so glad you called. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, this is the right place.
This is what we do.
This is what we do. Yeah. This is what we're known for.
We are implant experts, or whatever your niche is.
Yeah.
We are the Invisalign experts, the sleep apnea experts. This is what we do. We have not found a patient that we couldn't work something out for him.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be you. So come on. We got a spot. Dr. A is always busy.
Yeah.
But we have a spot tomorrow for you at noon.
So you don't recommend booking these things out too far?
If you can get them in within 72 hours, do it.
Well, I would restate that you should get them within 72 hours. So what do you have to do? I'm asking the listener, what do you have to do to make it that you can see people in 72 hours? So to me, what I hope my team is doing is schedule them at lunch, schedule them at 4:30, tell them to come at 7:30 and tell me to show up at 7:30, because you got to be willing to do what it takes to get people into your funnel.
Correct. And statistically, the earlier in the day is going to be a better conversion rate for them showing up for their appointments. Later in the day, they tend to, no show.
Work gets in the way, life gets in the way.
Or just I'm having
tired.
second thoughts.
I don't know about today.
I don't want to do this. So statistically, I would say 12 noon or earlier. And if there is a way for you to manipulate your schedule in such a way where maybe it's like every Tuesday at 10 and every Thursday at 12 are your consult.
Right. So pre-block them.
Yeah. If that, if that makes sense for your schedule.
I wouldn't say if that makes sense. It's got to make sense. Listen, if you want to be successful at this, then do what it takes to be successful. Plan for success.
Plan for it. Absolutely.
So if I know, look, at the end of the day, these full arch leads are going to cost about $100, $75 to $100 per phone call.
Correct.
Okay. And if your budget's $5,000, you're going to get about, maybe 50 calls.
Correct.
Okay. So if you get 50 calls and we legitimately think that we can consult 15 to 25% of them, then we know that we need to
move some things
10
around.
10 to 15 blocks in the schedule.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if you don't have those 10 to 15 blocks, you're not setting yourself up
for success.
To be successful.
Yeah.
So the question is can you make it work? You got to make it work because you're spending $5,000 of pure bottom line money.
Correct.
Not top line money. It's bottom line money. And I'll argue till I'm blue in the face. Return isn't 3 or 4x. Return is 10 to 1. If you're not producing 10 to 1, because for me to make $5,000, I've got to produce 25 grand. Okay. So I'm not doing this to break even. So
right.
If I only produced, I got $25,000 worth of implants for my $5,000 spend, I'm like, well, I might as well not have done anything.
Right. No, I completely agree.
So, I'm looking at it to win.
I completely agree.
So I think part of that is setting up the times, understanding. And while we're on this phase of phone call to consultation, I would argue that you have to set up the times and make it convenient for your patients.
Correct.
Okay. And that means that you need to have morning times. And then maybe on Monday,
early
maybe
afternoon.
Monday and Wednesday, you do 8 o'clock. Maybe Tuesday and Thursday, you do 10 o'clock or 10:30. So when the patient says, well, I'm best mid-morning, I'm best early morning, you can slide them into those slots.
Absolutely.
And you got to pre-book on realistic expectations.
And if those pre-book slots are available, some offices also allow for online scheduling, and they're seeing a different rate of conversion, because we're only talking about the phone calls.
Right.
There's a whole other block of people who are afraid to call you and will do the email submission forms.
Or chat, website chats.
They'll do the chat box. So they're the other modes of communication. So if you want to set yourself up additionally, you can have the online scheduling as an option for those preset blocks as well.
Let's have a quick talk to my listeners real quick. All right. So I came up in the era of dentistry. I'm not that old. I'm 43 years old. I've been doing this 20 years now, where it was all phone calls. Okay. When I started, there wasn't really website submissions or any of this stuff. Digital marketing didn't exist. But we're reaching a time, and I've got to get on board with this personally, okay? Not mentally, but just like physically actually do it. Where online scheduling is paramount. You got to do it. Yeah. Okay? Your patient's ability to chat with you via website chat box, whether you answer it or you have a third party answer it in a manner that you approve of, is paramount. It's a must. You simply can't you've got to be where your patients are at. Now, if your patients are on the phone, if your patients are sitting at work and trying to hide from work, they can't talk on the phone necessarily, but they can chat, they can type and make these appointments. People want to make appointments. How many of us listening make our haircut appointment online? Okay? Why can't we make it easy for our patients to make their recall appointment? And what happens is, I know what dentists are thinking. If I let people do it online, my schedule will look like crazy. You control what you do. You decide how many appointments you want, what type of appointments are, what time blocks they are. You control all of this stuff. So it's time that we set ourselves up for success. We have pre-scheduled blocks for the consultation process. We got people that are trained to answer the phone and help them get through the consultation. And we make it easy for people to choose our office to get their information. Lauren,
winning plan right there.
Lauren, I want to talk to you more about the key success points of once we get these people into the office.
What do you do?
What do we do? So, Lauren, let's talk about it. This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yes. So the consultation, when they come into your office, I mean, they need to feel like, they're like Eddie Murphy from Coming to America. Like, I can't believe it. I just feel so great.
We have to build a McDowell's?
Yes, you absolutely. But seriously, like, they need to feel special when they come in, period.
What does that mean? Like, how do we make our patients feel special?
Well, when I would say eye contact would probably be a big one. You have a really, really great team, so I know that I've
already trained you to say team.
Yes, you see, it's conditioned already. Yeah. And your team, they actually are. They're great, so they don't appear to be flustered and overwhelmed, even though they may be. When probably all the time, you probably stress them out all the time. But when this Google lead comes walking through the door,
the stranger,
this is a Google stranger, right? That is a paid opportunity that has come through this door, that has actually made it to the appointment. They didn't cancel. When they walk in, it needs to be refreshing. Oh my gosh, Bob, we've been expecting you. How are you feeling? Yeah, because I was the one talking to you on the phone. You feeling all right? Bob, take a seat over there. I'm going to come bring you some water infused with unicorns and limes. and just make him feel good.
And maybe some nachos.
And, right. Yeah, he doesn't need any of that. Probably can't
I don't like nachos to my listeners.
So just make them feel warm. And that should be probably for every patient, but especially for a potential $30,000 patient that came in.
Or $60,000. They may be a double arch.
It could be a double. Or what if it's 16 individual implants, Like,
I don't think that's humanly possible.
They could do it. They do it in New York, they might. So
South Dakota is where they put 16 implants for a molar replacement.
So it starts there. So once they have the consultation with the actual exam with you, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be amazing. You'll tell them everything they need. I know personally, I switched dentists last year, and I had a cleaning, and I've never had a cleaning like that before. I felt like I had a head massage. He checked me for like TMJ. There were so many things that took place in that exam. I just wondered what have I been missing like all of my life? And the dentist wasn't heavy-handed. He gently put it to me that I needed a bunch of cavities filled, and it was going to cost, a couple $1,000s. And I was excited to pay. And it was just the dentist. I hadn't even made it to the consultation room yet. They lost me in the consultation room completely. And I actually I wound up getting my services done elsewhere. But that you're going to do your part. Right. I'm not really worried about, you wowing them and making them feel special. It's when you leave.
Right. Or before you get in.
It's like when do you have the actual discussion about what the patient needs?
So in our office, and again, this is not right or wrong. Yeah. What happens is they'll meet with one of my team members. Mm-hmm. My team members will gather the information, kind of do a product showcase of this is what we're talking about, this is what's going on.
Okay.
They'll kind of do some of those things, right or wrong, and
correct.
You're welcome to correct me. And then I'll come in, I'll meet with them. I'll kind of say, hey, you're a good candidate. This is kind of the process. I will have what we call fit issues. What's going on? Are they in pain? Mm-hmm. What's their hot button? In other words, what's their disability that they're embarrassed to smile? They got a wedding coming up, and I'll always use that language in my conversation with them about how wonderful they're going to look, how confident they're going to be, mm-hmm. how they're going to be able to chew whatever their thing is. And then at that point, I always say, hey, I'm going to leave it to XYZ team member.
Yep.
And I look forward to seeing you back for your next step.
Okay, so there's two parts to that.
Yeah, and then they'll sit down with the same person who does the consult, mm-hmm. team member, and then that's when they go through the finances. Yeah. So they've had this amazing experience. Ideally, you've made them feel good about the next steps. Right. Ideally, the doctor's made them feel good about the next steps. So you wrote down that we need to know your product and doctor. We talked about this. Is this similar to what we talked about from the phone call to the consultant?
And now it's to the next level.
So now it's more clinically oriented, mm-hmm. maybe a little bit.
Clinically oriented, but still palatable for the patient.
Okay.
So
you don't want me to pull out pictures of my flaps laid?
Oh my God. Don't show them any flaps, okay, at all. Or show them, what they'll look like edentulous, and then with the nubs and the abutments and all that.
These are what the abutments are.
Oh my God, no. And don't talk about, and this is going to be this much for the crown. And, you can use this lower price implant, it'll be this much, and if you use Nobel, it'll be that much. Like, no, we don't get into any of that. It's more or less about, okay, so doc has probably given you some options, so let's just kind of talk about the whole treatment plan. How are you feeling right now about it, Bob?
Yeah, it's a lot of money, overwhelming, I'm not sure.
Okay, and then I'll have my little one-pager. I understand that it's a lot, but this is going to be, this is not just a car that's going to run out in 5 years or 7 years, 10 years. This is a permanent solution for a beautiful smile. And so I have my little one-pager here that's going to talk about, it shows the picture of the doctor, mm-hmm. all of your accolades and initials after your name, and what you're going to get. So I just want to reiterate, what the procedure entails. So you are going to come in on the day of surgery, and you will be completely sedated. So Dr. A, he's the best in the area. He educates people on this process. Feel good about that, okay? And the great thing is it's going to be pretty fast. We use something called a surgical guide, mm-hmm. where he can place the implants exactly where they need to go. Almost with his eyes closed. Of course, his eyes will be open, but it's going to be just that simple of a process. And we're also going to have the laboratory there that's going to be, polishing and making your teeth look extra perfect so they fit just right after the procedure with minimal pain. And we can fix any of the pain problems right there in the chair, all right? So, and then I'll flip my page over and say, so here are our options. It seems like you're going to be the best candidate for what we call a full arch, which is basically getting a whole new set of teeth. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, he talked to me about them all coming out.
He told you? Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, let's just think about, do you have a budget, like a monthly budget that you feel like would work for you in terms of a payment amount?
I haven't really given it a lot of thought, but, it's a lot of money. If we could get this in the, $200, $300, $400 ballpark,
okay,
I might be. This is probably something I could afford.
Okay, well then let's work with that number. I think that's in fact, do you want some more unicorn juice? Here, have some of that. Turn the diffuser up with the lavender, and make sure there's like a slideshow of Dr. A and his kids and the family and all that. So he's feeling warm. He's feeling good because we're going to make this work. I haven't had a single patient walk out of here where we couldn't make something work. Okay. So the total cost of the procedure from start to finish is $32,000. Or whatever the number is, and that is everything. All right, that is your sedation, that is the teeth on the same day of surgery, that is the final teeth that you'll have for the rest of your life.
Follow-ups.
That is the follow-ups. That is Dr. A's tender loving care. That is me giving you a hug before and after surgery. That is everything. Okay, so what I want you to do, there's a company that we work with. Whatever the financing company is, have the iPad already pulled up.
Yeah.
The financing company we work with, they're amazing, and they're extremely flexible. I've got a patient that I need to check. It'll only take me about 5 minutes. Go ahead and fill out the pre-qualification form. Just for getting pre-qualified, you're going to get 20% off your procedure today. Just for getting pre-qualified, all right? 20% off your procedure. That'll take it down to about $28,000. Yes.
All right. So here's a question.
Yes.
I know what my listeners are thinking right now.
Uh-oh.
They're like, that sounds salesy, and I don't want to give away 20% off my fee.
I raised the price.
Okay. But this is what it takes to sell. This is what ultimately what the competitors are doing. This is what the market is bearing. So you got to get comfortable with this.
And we don't want to judge our patients to assume they just can't afford it. But Bob has been giving me signals since our phone call a couple of days ago that price is paramount.
Bob hasn't said no yet.
Yeah, and he hasn't said no. So I could lead with the discount or not. Or I could give it to him as a gift at the end. It could be 5%, 10%. It could be nothing. But either way, I'm leaving the room.
In other words, you're given a compelling reason to finance.
Yeah.
To fill out the application.
Because we can get him to $300 a month. It'll just be for 110 months of financing.
It'll be for 10 years.
Yeah, it'll be 10 years. But we can get him there. Yeah. And there's a lot of great companies. Here's the iPad. I will have his information already in there, okay? And the number already in there as well, because if they put in the wrong number for the amount, it could mess up the qualification. Have that ready for him and walk away for 5 minutes. Just leave. I will be right back. Do you need anything while I'm waiting? Okay, great. Go ahead and get pre-qualified, whether you offer a discount or not. I just said offer something. I offered him water.
Okay.
A cold towel.
Unicorns.
Unicorns. I'm offering him love and magic. Okay, and a brand new smile, ultimately. Right. And then leave and come back, because what you've created is called positive tension. It's that dead space, that dead silence for them to think and process.
Right.
And then when you come back, have that discussion again, because you could be embarrassed about not getting qualified.
It's kind of like when I have a husband and wife that comes for consultation and then they start having a conversation.
You got to walk out.
I always tell me and my team, I said, you know what, Lauren, let's give you and your husband a moment here. We'll come back in about 5 minutes. We'll go take care of a few other things. It's perfect timing. Let you guys talk. Any questions you got, we'll be back. We'll deal with them then.
Absolutely.
Just get out the room.
And let them be in that space with the diffuser going. They got the unicorn juice. They see Dr. A's family on the PowerPoint. They know they're in a great spot. Great experience from the phone call to here. There's really no reason for them to shop anywhere else, especially if we can get it where it's affordable for them monthly. Because we're selling, when you go in to buy a car, you're not thinking you're going to pay $70,000 cash that day for a car. You're thinking about the car payment. Right. It's the same process.
All right, so let's have a quick conversation. Okay,
yes.
So let's come back. Okay.
Okay.
So let's come back a little bit. Okay. One, we got to know our product and the doctor. Okay. So we've talked about that. In other words, your team member, whoever's doing the consult, whether it's the doctor or whoever, you got to know we're using Chrome Guide, or we're using Sequence Guide, or we're using ProArch, or whatever it is. You got to talk about the guide. If a patient came in, hey, I want all on 4, that's what I read about, then those are the words you use.
That's what you use.
Okay, you don't suddenly start saying Teeth Express and like, what the hell is that?
Or Full Arch.
You use the words. They use the words that they're supposed to use, right? That kind of stuff, right? And then you got to empathize, and connect with your patient.
Have to.
So what does that mean? When you say empathize and connect with your patient, what does that mean?
You want to make sure that they know that you know why they're there. Yeah. And you always want to remind them, I know that you've been uncomfortable for a couple of years now.
You want to be their advocate.
Always.
You want them to know that you're there for them.
Always.
I'm on your side.
100%. You're using that name. You're reminding them they're in a great place. You're empathetic to why all of their teeth are failing. You don't want them to be embarrassed by that. With that, you want them to have that fresh smile where their face isn't sunken in, and you want to put years back onto their life, and that is what you always want to remind. I know, Bob. We talked about all the years that you were chewing tobacco. My dad did the same thing, and we had the same conversation. And Dr. A fixed him right on up. It took some time. He had to spend a little bit of money, but ultimately he's out of pain. He can eat steak for dinner. And he's not worried about it anymore.
He's not embarrassed.
He's not
He can smile in pictures.
Yeah.
Whatever their fit issues, whatever their disability is.
Yes.
The benefit is the opposite.
Absolutely.
So that's empathizing, connecting, and then the last 2 things here are. You like a pro, you got to understand your financing options.
Yes.
And I want to get into that a little bit deeper because there's a lot of stuff we need to talk about there.
Some nuances.
And then have something to offer, like a discount, water, snacks,
something.
Diffuser.
Anything.
Something.
Right?
In other words, just think about it. Like when I went to buy my Mercedes, or my wife's Mercedes a couple of months ago, they kept offering me water. I'm like, at some point I'm going to have to pee.
Yeah.
You keep offering, but they keep, because that's when you invite a stranger into your home, what do you do with them? You feed them, you
make
drink
them feel welcome.
You make them feel welcome.
Make them feel welcome.
Giving people stuff.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean like you're giving them keychains and stuff like that. You keep asking them, is there anything I can get for you?
Right.
All that stuff, would you like a cup of coffee? Whatever it is.
One of my offices, she had 2 different things that she would give, both of the same value. I want to say probably $10, but it was a mug, a really, really nice mug that was stuffed with stuff. I know you guys have done something similar. And then she also gave a little like dinner coupon or something just for coming in for the consult, specifically for the people that came in for consultations from ads.
Right.
Yeah, it was just something only for them, and whether they wound up paying for a service or not. But she knew if they were going to go shopping other places,
they're not going to get that.
They're not going to get it, and especially if she can price match too.
It's about making a memorable impression
100%
on your patient, because you have to assume they're going to go shopping.
Yeah.
You got to assume that.
Or you're the third option.
Or they've already gone shopping.
Or they've already shopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, now if we get a little bit clinical here, that's why I think it's super important. And you might disagree with me on this, but I always leverage my 3D technology. I show the patient what it looks like, why we use it. I show them the sinus. I show them the nerve. I say, this is why we use guides, because this avoids us from doing things that may not be the best for you. I kind of, because I know that most offices they go to, maybe they have 3D, but they're not showing them.
They're not utilizing it.
They're not utilizing it.
100%.
They're not differentiating themselves. They're not creating that value.
Agreed.
So that patient can see that.
Show that stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully the team members at least know
us,
what it's called.
we're doing digital impressions at the consult as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, we can show them what the teeth look like. We're doing photographs.
All of that.
So for people that are wondering what is our consult process, records-wise is patient comes in, we do a 3D x-ray. Patient comes in, we do a set of photographs. We take a full face straight on, no tilt, so we can do smile imaging.
Good.
We take a smile, we take a retracted smile, we take an upper arch, lower arch, and we take a few other photographs, so that way we have what we need.
That's good.
So that when I come in to do my talk, I can to a certain degree, I can see the patient's condition without even looking in their mouth.
Do you have the design software to show them their smile?
We don't. We do it with the lab. We use that as an opportunity to reconnect with the patient the next day or two.
Gotcha.
So when you come in, I'll tell you all the good unicorn stuff. You're going to look great, feel great. We have examples of cases that we've done. And then we use that opportunity. Hey, Lauren, your smile simulation came in. I can't believe how beautiful this looks. And then we just, that's our next step with our patient to follow up. So that's kind of the physical part of the consultation.
Okay.
But the most important part of the consultation is helping your patients afford treatment. And my listeners, my regular listeners, people that have seen me speak, I talk about price versus affordability. Patients, it's not the price that holds them back. It's not the $32,000. What in the world is the difference in $32,000 and $28,000? Nothing. Okay, it's
the
nothing.
Monthly payment.
It's nothing. It is a monthly payment.
Yes.
And what we're working on and what we're doing, what we've done well with clear aligner therapy in our office is we have financing programs. Okay. So like for clear aligners, our team should know, you should ask them tomorrow.
Okay.
They should know that clear aligner therapy is nothing down $200 a month. Okay. No interest. That's a program.
As long as you get approved.
Yeah, as long as you get approved, right?
Yeah.
So we have a program in place so that patients know what to apply for.
Awesome.
Okay. And then what we need to add to that is we need to get that payment under $100. Okay.
180 or so, 160.
Yeah, we need. I think we got to get it in the $100 ballpark.
Oh, under 100, not under 200. Okay.
Under 100. So that might be our 4-year, 5-year plan with interest. Okay. So that way we can tell patients we have programs. Available.
Oh yeah.
And then so we got to figure out the financing for our patients. And this is where offices screw it up, mine included. Okay. What happens is we put ourselves in the patient's shoes. We start thinking for them.
Yeah.
Or we start thinking from our perspective of what's going on. Well, man, I can't afford, that's a lot of money. I don't want to ask somebody to take a home equity line. I don't want to ask them to maybe look into their retirement plan to borrow against that. But these people came to your office, they have a debilitating condition. They have no teeth. That's the equivalent of not having a foot.
They're missing a limb.
Essentially, they are missing a limb, right?
Yeah.
So part of that financing or making it affordable is having solutions and having your team members understand those solutions. So I know for a fact, if you had my team members, all of them, list out how can we help patients make treatment affordable, only 1 or 2 would get down to home equity line or retirement plan. Okay. The rest of them wouldn't ever think that because we've never trained them on that. And we've got to train them on that.
Yeah.
We've got to train them on that. And I bet you money that only 1 or 2 of my team members can tell you all the different financing companies that we have at our disposal. And that's
or how to get qualified or what the rates are.
That's not right. You got to know. Yeah. You got to know what it takes. I got to know, like most patients, when they're serious, they'll know their credit score range. They'll know, listen, I'm going to be in the 600 to 640 range. Okay. And your team member needs to know that is not XYZ company. That's this company. And they got to know that that's this company and that company, that's a lower tier patient. My discount rate, my cost of doing business is going to be 10 to 12%. I can't be dropping this from 32 to 25 because I'm going to have to essentially do that to help them get the financing. I have to buy down. Your team needs to know it. They need to know all that stuff, right? And so to me, that's the thing. Now, the other thing that I think most offices aren't doing, and maybe at the Full Arch level, many of the experts at Full Arch they don't have a financial menu where the patients can see in writing transparently what their payment choices are. And so to me, those are the things that are important. So I know I took over. This is your episode.
Fine.
But let's talk about financing options because this is where this office is screwed up, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's like a whole discussion. It really is.
I want to have it.
Especially if you offer multiple ways for people to afford treatment.
I would argue that you have to.
I don't think most people are. But I think they stick with the two big
but that's
lenders,
how
and that's it.
The people that are crushing it.
Yeah.
They're
ready.
They meet patients where they're at.
Like you can't. Essentially, you don't want. You've done all the other things on the front end. From the phone call to the consultation to the exam. Rather, there really should be no reason for them to leave. They came in kind of almost ready. For some sort of. If they show
up for the consult, they're
trying to do something.
Yeah, they know. Kind of. They know it's going to cost a new car.
Oh yeah.
They know it's it's not painless, but it's not painful. I mean, they kind of know these things.
And if they were thinking that it's something like in the $10,000 range, and that's not your niche client, okay, they're your niche patient.
But okay, let's come back. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's see. So now, and my team doesn't know this, okay, because I haven't done it. We have. You know why I don't do overdentures? We've got a fixed solution in the overdenture price.
And what's that?
So what we can do is we can put them in a temporary, and we can have them pay for 5 years, and they'll get the final.
Your team doesn't know that?
No.
Doctor.
I'm talking about we do a new temporary every year.
Yeah.
So that we can stage them,
And
we
they
can
can
lay
pay
away
for
them
it.
to the full arch case.
It's like a layaway.
Right, exactly. That's what it is. My team doesn't know that.
Oh, well, they're going to know it tomorrow.
I know they will. But see, to me, at the end of the day, what this means is that what I'm trying to emphasize is we have to meet our patients where they're at.
100%.
Okay, so not every patient can be $30,000 an arch. You need a $15,000 to $18,000 product too. Okay, and that $15,000 to $18,000 product needs to help them get to $30,000 and let them make monthly payments directly to you.
That's smart.
Let them lay away, and then when they get to that point, they can have their zirconia.
Yep.
Or whatever you're using. Okay. Now, I don't believe in having like multiple final options where you have like we have a bar with an acrylic. That's this price. I don't believe in that. I believe in offering patients very good, great products. So
maybe
to me,
3 options.
Or, some of the new fiber products with teeth on top of them. But that's my top level product. And then also, I would argue some of my team members don't know that we can do sectional bridges with implants versus the traditional hybrid.
See, those are all the treatment options.
Yeah.
And when I show you that one pager, you can kind of lay those out. And then I think it's important too for the team member to know what is the monthly payment that they're comfortable with. Even when
off the top of their head.
Even when I've come into a dealership to buy a car, they don't ask me.
Dentists hate it. People hate it when we say, when we use analogy us to car dealerships.
Oh, well, you're not car dealers.
Well, no, but there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
High end.
Get over it.
I know. I mean,
get over it.
You're trying to.
You're selling a Mercedes Benz.
You're selling a car.
How about this? Last time one of my golfing buddies bought a truck.
Yeah.
$70,000 for a truck.
Yeah, that's 2 arches and some veneers.
Yeah,
and
people have money for what
they want.
What people make it easy for you to buy.
Yep.
In other words, make it easy for you to buy.
Say that again. They have money for what is easy for them to buy.
Yeah, people have money for what's easy, what you make easy for them to buy. And think about rooms to go. Mm-hmm. They upfront. It's $140, no interest for 24 months. You go in knowing
exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. When you need to have financial programs in place. Like, in other words, like to me, the menu would read, like, I'm just making this up now, okay?
Yep.
One would read $32,000. If they cash it, maybe you'll do $28,000. Okay? Then you'll have the next one will read $400 a month.
Yep.
Okay? The next one will read $300 a month. Maybe not. Maybe we'll go to $250.
Yep.
Okay, and or whatever the numbers work out to be, and we know that what these programs are, and our team members need to know this off the top of their head. They need to know that this full arch case works out to be $300 some a month,
off the top of their head,
$600 a month with this much down or no down. You got to ask those questions.
And it takes some time, honestly, for teams to get there, because especially if they were
high, they don't get there if you don't coach them.
Bingo. They can all get there, because I know they probably weren't hired in for that. But you got it.
They're busy dealing with
talking that talk. It's very serious. And it's the most important thing.
I didn't set my team up for success for the first few months.
Well, I think I'm so glad that you're now kind of working backwards and getting it done now.
Well, I'm committed to
because they're going to be rock stars when they can.
Yeah, we did 18 full arches last year. I know we can do.
You can double that.
I know we can do one a week.
Yeah,
I know we can.
Oh yeah,
and that's my goal. Okay, my goal is by the end of the year to be on track
for one per week.
Wouldn't
that be great?
To make that consistent. And I know that we're going to have to spend some money. I know that we're going to have to get some coaching. We're going to have to do things that are difficult. We're going to have to get uncomfortable. We're going to have to get better on the phone. We're going to have to categorize our patients, because I don't want to talk this way to patients that call for cleanings, right?
No,
but we're selling something different.
Exactly.
And you
competitive.
You can't take the skills of traditional general dentistry and just apply them to these
high-end cosmetic
whether
procedures.
it's a smile makeover, whether it's overdenture, whether it's a full arch, whatever it is, whether it's even 1 or 2 implants, that's $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 pretty quickly.
It sure is.
That is not general dentistry. That is buying.
Yes.
Okay, that is sales.
And
okay.
and initially, I think if you're going to have those programs in place, we need to make a little manual or something where it's easily accessible, where they can study it all the time. And when you have your biweekly or weekly marketing meetings, revisit it. You know, how many times did we have these discussions? Do you remember which program A is? Program B? Always revisit it to make sure that that's at top of mind.
Yeah, and your front office needs to know some of this too.
Everybody.
The phone call people.
Everybody that's a part of that process.
You know who will do great with this tomorrow? Tatiana, because she came from a car dealership.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, this will be. And
we're putting it right back in the in there. Yeah.
So the other thing that I want to talk about is how do we compete with places like Clear Choice on price? Okay, how do you I'm not asking the question the right way. How do we create value for our high ticket item?
Price match.
Okay, so let's go even beyond price match. How do I make my patients choose me versus you? We're both $25,000. I'm not gonna get into the game. Well, I'll do it for 24 because then you'll do it for 24, and then I'll do it. I'm not getting into that game.
Agreed.
Okay? So in other words, what I'm trying to get to here is, I don't think we do a good job of letting people know the value of what we're providing.
Everything that you just told me that takes place in the exam for an arch or for an implant, that was, the 3D technology, the smile design capabilities you have, the printing things in office, all of those things built up. It's not some huge facility where it's like an implant factory. It is a small team of people dedicated and committed to your care.
And I take that a step further. Line item it.
Yeah. That's that value ladder.
The 3D X-ray, $600.
That's the value
Smile
ladder.
design, $500. Anesthesia, $3,000, $4,000, whatever the number is.
The in-depth, the
surgical,
CT scan.
Like we go to a surgical center. That's $4,000, right? Then there's the implants, then there's the lab fee, then there's this.
And the CT scans and all that things.
Everything works out to be about
$38,000.
Our price is $32,000 or $20,000, whatever the number is.
It's a value ladder that you're building. And it starts with the skill of the doctor that should have been sold to them repeatedly leading up to this point. And I know at a place like Clear Choice, that's not happening. I know it's not. So it should be much easier for a smaller player to win. It really, really should be. Not even from a price standpoint, but from a value standpoint. Because they're not calling a 1-800 number, they're calling you directly. Yeah. They have their implant care team, which is your team. Right. They can get to the doctor.
And that's another thing. Who is the person? I'm speaking to the audience. Who is the person? It comes back to I have a concept, Lauren, that we call champions. Okay. They introduced you to Liz today. What do they say about Liz? She handles our sleep. Yep. She's a sleep champion. Yep. Okay. They probably introduced you to Alyssa. They probably said Alyssa handles our Invisalign. She's our Invisalign champion. They probably introduced you to Megan. Megan handles our large implant cases. We have people that own a product. They own that service. They're their contact point for the patients. Yep. They're going to get the same message, the same person from beginning to end. And we're not selling that. We're not telling patients that, in our office specifically, the same person that you talk to today is going to be maintaining your teeth because she's a hygienist. So when you come in every year for your follow-up, she's the one that's going to be seeing you. She's going to be cleaning your teeth, checking out. She remembered your case from the very beginning. She knew what it looked like. She knew what surgery was. She knew exactly where you were and what we got to do to maintain you.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because there was my dentist that I go to now, my hygienist is amazing. And so when I call in, I book my appointment with her. Yeah. It's not with the doctor. No. They don't even mention the doctor's name. Of course, I get checked by the doctor at the end. But I wanted to make sure, am I going to see anybody else? Because, I've got my hygienist. We know each other.
Team members have business cards. Yeah. Do they have email addresses? Do they have maybe an office mobile number? Yeah. Do they, or maybe we're just getting ready to have this Revenue Well phone thing where they have an app on their phone that they can communicate with patients so the patients don't have their direct number.
That's building value.
These are all the things that we got. If you want to be serious,
if you want to be serious,
if you want to do one arch a quarter, just do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. When you want to play big boy time and you want to get
Yeah.
to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to grow it. You got to get your team
It's a new
ready.
business you're starting.
A whole new business line.
And you got to treat it that way.
I agree. And I agree with like they either have a title like this is my patient care advocate or my implant specialist or whatever it is that you want to call that person.
Get it done with implants.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Whatever it is that you want to call that person, but at least Bob knows that it's really only going to be Dr. A and Megan.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So I think it's showing cases, not the surgical, showing before and afters, stories,
Not the open flap.
No, not the stories of those patients.
Yeah.
What they came in having, Paul Homily calls it story selling.
Yes.
Where, Lauren, you say, for example, you said, my parents had dentures, my grandparents had dentures. I don't want to have dentures. No, Lauren, that reminds me of another patient that we had who was in the exact same situation. Let me show you what happened here. She came in and she always said throughout her life that she would never have dentures. And unfortunately, things got to a point where she was in a situation where she needed to lose all her teeth. Mm-hmm. Here's what we were able to do for her.
And that, again, just building value, that emotional connection, reminding them of why they're here.
That's from consultation to close.
And then even after, because they're going to tell somebody else about you.
But then that's nurturing. And then the next step, now we can get into nurturing a little bit.
Correct,
And that's a drip campaign. I call them drip campaigns.
Yeah, it's a drip campaign.
So to me, part of the drip campaign that we are doing is we send them the simulation. Okay.
Of what their smiles look like.
The next drip campaign, maybe a week later, we send them a video testimonial, a link to a video testimonial.
Are you actively doing that right now?
No, not right. We're missing the boat on some of these things.
Okay. That's all right.
But that's
you can even start that with some of the some consults that maybe didn't close.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can activate that.
But
tomorrow.
part of that is keeping track. You can't just have a consult code. You gotta have to have full arch implant consult code. So you can separate it out.
Agreed.
Because if you ran a code for consult in the office, there'd be a bazillion of them, right?
No,
but
gotcha.
It could be but whatever it may be.
Have a process for it.
These are all the things I think most dentists aren't doing.
Is running a business.
They're not sitting down and planning through this.
And marketing.
They get an ad on Facebook promising some amazing stuff. And they're just not prepared for it. They're not setting themselves up for success. Now, here's another thing. If your intention and truth is that you're doing 2 cases a month right now, then you should have 2 blocks already scheduled.
Yeah, ready.
Lauren, when you come in, listen, Lauren, our next block is going to be Dr. A is reserved the first Wednesday of every month at the surgical center and the third Wednesday every month at the surgical center. Okay.
Oh, I can make one of those Wednesdays work.
Yeah,
sure.
Of course. Right?
Yeah.
Or so things like that. Or we have our anesthesiologist come in the first Tuesday or the first Friday or whatever it is, first and third, so that patients know that you're serious about this. Okay, that you got your shit together.
Yep.
Excuse my language. Okay, that this is the right place. Those are the things that are part of the consult to close. It's not just price. That's certainly a big component of it because patients don't know what else to ask.
They really don't.
They
really don't. They're very aware of the price range or what it could be, but that's just what they lead with, just to see where you fall.
People know if they can afford things or not.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Okay, and part of Anyway, I'm going.
And some things you can't help, like if they come in saying, "Oh, I'm Medicaid," or other things. Some things variables you can't control, but in terms of at least once you get them in the office. That's when all your strategies, the business strategies that you've laid out, those need to be in motion.
All right. So last week we talked about a percentage of if we got 50 calls a month.
50 calls.
That we would probably book between 10 and 15 consultations. Okay. Now, of these 10 or 15 consultations that show up, what is realistic to expect to convert?
2.
Okay. So 20%.
Yeah.
15 to 20%.
Yeah.
I ask these things because I think people have unrealistic expectations. You got to go fishing to catch fish.
And it's not a goose egg. You shouldn't have 0.
Right.
You should have 1 to 2. Well, like I said, so that'd be 10 to 20% conversion. That is totally acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want you to realize the return on your investment within the same month, ideally,
of course,
of you running ads.
But I think the reason I ask this is it's not about ROI and that stuff. I think it's about setting expectations for people, myself included, right? That if we get 50 leads, 40 of them are going to be duds.
duds.
They're
They're shoppers.
If they didn't schedule for a consultation,
You're calling them a dud.
they're dud.
But you capture their email so
Sure.
you can retarget and market to them later.
Sure. We screwed it up the first time. We're probably going to screw it up the second time. Okay. And then of those 10 or 15 people that actually come in, we should expect 2 or 3, maybe 1, 2, 3 to close.
Yes.
So you got to get your expectations in line. Anytime a marketing company tells you that you're going to get 50 leads and 50 consults a month, it's BS. If they're going to tell you that we're going to have a system that teaches you to close 50% of your cases, it's total BS.
Yeah.
Unless they're creating so many barriers to get a consultation that you got to get pre-qualified. Because I can make it to where
you pay before you come in.
Yeah, I can
get
make
pre-qualified before you come in,
and then you're missing out on potential opportunities. You know, and by the way, I want to be clear about this. Of the cases we've done over the last 6 years, you know, probably at this point we're at 80, 90, 100 cases or so, full arch cases over the last 6 or 7 years. And I would argue that 10 of them were rich.
Really? Everybody else you had to make
Everybody
a way?
else was
figure it out.
We're working people.
So you mean to tell me that people aren't walking up to you with a bag of money?
No.
Just ready?
No, they're not. And I would argue that half of our people have insurance.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
You know.
So people are putting the house up
so,
and going into those 401ks. Mm-hmm.
They're doing something.
They're doing something.
We've had patients that borrow from parents, grandparents. Mm-hmm. You know, and we help them.
That's very real.
Yeah.
All of those scenarios are very real. And when you handle these patients as if they don't matter or prejudge them because of the way they look or the way their teeth are or any of those things, you will lose.
Well, you're doing a profession a disservice because then we get those Reader Digest articles, dentists are salespeople and all of that stuff. You know, and we have such a wonderful profession and we have an opportunity to make a wonderful living doing great things for people. And we just have to get out of my message is always, my tagline is the business tactics of the 1990s, 2000s, and even 2010s don't work. It's almost 2000. It's 2020 in a few months.
It's competitive out there. And what you all do, I mean, I've been on the surgical side. I've seen, you know, these smile restorations, what these faces look like immediately after and how they're like touching and trying to see like, whoa, this is me. Like, sure, it's a little uncomfortable, maybe a little tight, but their lives are changed. Yeah. And if you can help them just realize that and there's no place else they need to be because we are going to make this affordable and we will help make this work for you. Yeah. That's it.
People just want to be reassured.
Reassure them.
And they want to have hope.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you're providing that. And I can't tell you one of those big implant companies or implant doctor places is going to provide that. You are.
Well, they're not going to. They might not provide the individualized.
Not the hope and
TLC.
the TLC.
Yeah, they may not. I mean,
and the unicorn water.
I can't speak to that. You know, I haven't been in one of those places, but I want to learn a lot of what Clear Choice does. Mm-hmm. I want to learn from it. I want to recreate it in my own. Not recreate their model, but recreate my version of their model.
Yeah.
You know, what fits my personality, what fits my market, what fits my dreams and my goals. You know, and I would love to learn. I'd love to just spend a week just watching them.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of not even. I don't care about the surgery, but I want to watch the people that are connected.
Their
with
process.
Patients. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to learn there. Lauren.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I talked a lot this time. I apologize.
Oh no, it's great.
Miss Lauren Powers. Powers at microsite.com, sales success coach. We have big expectations tomorrow. Huge.
I will not disappoint. Huge.
And if you are serious about marketing your practice for large cases, don't spend $1 on marketing your practice until your team is ready.
Preach.
And ready to make things that are uncomfortable and ready to help people go on a journey. These patients don't buy over the phone, and they often, most of the time, don't buy the first time they come in. The people that say yes to me the first time they come in scare me a little bit.
So, like, what's going to go wrong here?
What am I not getting here? You know? So again, it's Lauren Powers, Powers at microsite.com. And thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.